Hey guys, this is Mike F. Garage on YouTube normally, but today I'm here with Hot VW's magazine to help them out check out this really cool Porsche, I guess. What do we call this thing? Is it Brazilian?
Transporter.
Transporter.
I'm Ric Birks and from Salem, Utah, and I've been doing the Volkswagen thing for about 40 years, playing around with it.
Wow. And you drove this out from
Salem, Utah, correct?
Drove it.
Drove it via Scottsdale, Arizona first, so that was about 610 miles to Scottsdale. Then it was another 400 miles over here to this area, so about a 1,000-mile trip to get here.
That puts a little accent on the drive, right? So tell us about this. So I was looking at the front of this thing. The first thing that caught my eye was that the emblem is molded in. So is this, I guess you're saying, is this Brazilian?
Correct. I think Brazil started doing the embossed emblem in 1974, I think is what I heard. And so this had a nose replaced on it at one time, and they used the Brazilian nose, which I don't think is super uncommon, but kind of cool because it's a little tougher to steal that emblem than it is the normal ones.
So do you know the history on this truck? I mean, did you buy it like this, or?
It was actually constructed down in Brazil. I'm not exactly sure where, and I dealt with the gentleman that had it built down there, and they shipped it from Brazil up to Miami, Florida, where it sat up there for a while, and he's tried to sell it, and I was lucky enough to be contacted by a friend of mine that said he saw it on Facebook, I think is where he said that he saw it for sale. And I'd actually been trying to deal with the gentleman in Miami, a broker on it, probably about 6 months before that. And I wasn't able to come to an agreement with the original broker, but when it was for sale on Facebook, I got to talk with the actual owner of the vehicle, which made a lot of difference. And he was motivated to sell it, so we made an agreement and picked it up, and I flew out to Miami and jumped in it and drove it back to Highland, Utah at the time, which was about 2,600-mile drive.
So you bought it and drove it, no shipping, all the way to Utah before you drove it out here. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that was a couple years ago, and I think I've had it for about 3 years now, and got it home and ended up having to completely go over, repaint the whole thing and straighten a few things out and put the safaris in it and a few other details, the Porsche style headlights. I changed a lot of things on it.
Wow.
Just to try and make it a little bit uniquer.
But it looks really fantastic. I mean, you did a great job on the painting. Do you do that for a living, or is it just something you...
This is just hobby.
Hobby?
I've been doing this for 40 years, I think. Yeah, started in '83. Came to my first Orange County bug-in back in 1983.
Yeah, you look kind of familiar. I think I've been around myself a little while.
Heck, I was like 22 years old, I think, back then. It was so long ago. But yeah, we drove out here one night, me and my dad, all the way from Salt Lake area, and drove all night long to get here, and got here just in time for the show to start, and watched the show all day long, and drove home that night. So
let's walk around a little bit and check this out. Now the seat. Did you put that seat in here?
I did.
Can we look inside?
Sure.
Show us.
That's a box speedster seat.
Speedster seat. Wow. It makes it a little more comfortable for the drive, or
what
is
it does
just something you added?
It lowers my head, my eyes. When I have the normal seat in there, my eyes are about an inch lower than the top of the windshield. So I don't have much field of vision. So with the speedster seat in there, my face is right, I see out the whole windshield. So it makes it a lot nicer to drive for a big road trip like this.
Wow.
Otherwise, it has the normal seat for it typically.
Yeah. It just seems like they are a little bit uncomfortable on a long drive. I mean, I've done a few, but that's a little further than I've done. Yeah.
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, for sure.
I always tell people it takes a lot of guts to be a Volkswagen guy. You just got to do it. And sometimes we do stuff that's just crazy and stupid, and it's wonderful to see.
Exactly.
Wow. So it's got disc brakes then?
Correct.
Yeah. Were they added, or did we just like that when you got it?
I think that's part of the Brazilian process of building these things down there. Some of these late model split windows had the disc brake front ends in them and the IRS rear end in it as well. So it doesn't have reduction boxes, and it has a little better ride and probably has a little better top end, but it wouldn't be anything I know about because I only drive it about 60, 65 at the very most.
Yeah. Now let's get back to this here. Let's go to the back, and there's something I really want to ask you, because I was wondering, we were talking about the engine that's in here, and this was kind of, you guys, this is like, was kind of like, I was like a little bit crazy, but tell us, what size engine is this thing?
This has a 1600 dual port, bone stock. Stock as a rock.
I thought I was crazy driving the bucket truck with a 40 horse, but man, this thing probably weighs a little more. And wow. And it's not a brand new engine or anything. No, it's not even brand new. It's old, right?
Nope,
you were
yeah.
saying?
Not a new motor.
And you just drove it, just go for it, you know.
Yep. I drive
Right
it.
on.
I don't drive it often, but when I do drive it, it's just, 55, 60 miles an hour, and I don't try and push it any harder than that because it's got a lot of weight, but it does fairly well. In fact, I was getting between 23 and 25 miles a gallon this whole trip. And I was pretty happy about that.
That's actually better than mine, I think.
Isn't that just, it was crazy, but I kept doing the mileage checks and how much fuel I was using, and it equated out to between 23, 25 miles a gallon.
So, do you know if these were a coach built in Brazil, or if it was just...
No, it was custom built.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was actually commissioned by a gentleman up in New York, from my understanding, and he commissioned the thing to be built by a gentleman I dealt with, Robert, who had the thing built down in Brazil, and then when they shipped it up to Miami, for one reason or another, the gentleman who commissioned it reneged on the deal. Wow. And so they built this wonderful bus for somebody who wasn't willing to go through with their
Didn't
end
want to
of
pay
it.
their bill, I guess, or whatever.
Something.
Wow.
And so it became available because
Oh, wow. Well, your
obviously,
benefit. I mean,
my benefit. I was going to
is
build
fine.
one. I had one ready to build.
I mean, I think didn't Gerald Vatone?
They had a longer,
He
yeah.
built one, something like this, or something. I don't know if it was coach built or how that one happened, but this kind of reminds me of that, because it has like, a lot of the, there was a split window.
And even Porsche racing team had
Yeah,
this
correct.
extended truck.
Yeah, really cool. I think it's just. So, what about what's on it here? What's going on there? What is that? Is that a kit car? I think it is, but
What it is it's a Thunder Ranch tribute to the 718 RSK. With one little modification. It has the bulge on the dash, which is what the 718 RS60 had, which changed it from a 718 RSK to a RS60. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of the two intermixed, but I just call it an RS60 because people say that with that bump on the dash, that's what it is. And
it's gorgeous.
yes,
car.
it's a fun little car, and it is.
What engine's in that one?
This one has a 2.2 liter, 2200 cc.
Wow.
I believe it was a CB Performance motor that was built
and that
for it.
lightweight of a car, that must be just super fun.
It's definitely a smile maker. It's fun to drive it. It is fun.
Yeah, your hair in the wind and all that power. That just sounds awesome. It really does.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, and so it's mid-engine, the one that's in there?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I just don't think I've ever seen the replica of this one in a kit, or I've seen other Spyders, but
Correct.
not like this one. I just don't really know that much about them to ask the unique questions, but I
Well,
really think
Almost
it's
same
just...
size as the 550.
Similar. It's almost
550, yeah.
identical to the 550, other than the
Yeah,
back
but-
sort of is the same, but this was the one that came after the 550 in the real Porsche world. The 550
Wow.
ran for 4 or 5 years, from 53 I think to 57, and then the 718 Spider started in 58 and did 59, and then they went to the RS60 Spider in 60, and then 61 I think they did an RS61, So this was the the one that followed the 550, and then the 904 came after this one in 1964. So these replicas, there's not a lot of these RSK cars because Thunder Ranch, I think they cast or threw 50 molds or bodies, and then basically went out of business. And I understand that the molds went off to Europe, and so they're still available to be built if you really want one, but I think they're a little bit of a hassle to get and a lot of time to wait. It's a good color. I think that's what Porsche used to color all their race cars, were silver.
Porsche silver color. Just love it. And I like the Porsche on the side. Is that just a vinyl? Or
it is.
Do you have that? Okay, yeah, that's cool. So let me ask you, how long is it from like the bulkhead to the back?
It's just a little over 14 feet.
14 feet. Wow. So you
I
could
think the stock single cab is about 8.5 feet, and so they've added about 5.5, 5 feet to this thing.
That's long enough to fit the 2 cargo doors.
Exactly.
Wow.
To get the second cargo
Yeah,
door.
yeah, that's right. It's just really neat.
It is really very purpose built, and it does carry a lot of stuff underneath there for trips.
Do you have the ramps here underneath it?
I do not.
Okay.
I actually had designed and was going to build a set of ramps that would have fit in there and linked together in 5-foot sections to give me a 15-foot ramp sloping.
We were looking at the back of the car over here, and we saw that it's already got a connection, really pretty good steel here for a ramp.
Correct.
So that's really neat that it's already got that.
I ended up buying a set of ramps that were already made. They're 14 feet long, and they're fiberglass, but I can't store them in the truck, so they're at home. So I can take it off with the ramps, or I also have a lift at the house that I can drive the car or roll the car back off.
Almost like a loading dock type of thing? Or?
Yeah, it's just a 4-post lift that lifts it up.
Okay, yeah. I got you.
Store them in the garage.
It's like, so you got the same setup I got.
Makes it a lot easier than the ramps do.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
What is this stuff?
That's just a industrial tie-down support system that I've always put it in my trailers, and it just makes tying the car down just really, really easy and fairly secure.
Oh yeah, I think that really...
What it does is it ties the tires so the car's suspension still works while it's on the trailer. So that
it's not fighting that.
It's not fighting the suspension and trying to unload it and load it, and it just is really a smooth ride for the car.
It stays in place. It doesn't want to walk at all.
No.
Nice.
It's got a block at the front, so that definitely stops it right there.
Yeah, this is just, man, I could tell you, this is just something done right. It's probably the best thing I've ever seen as far as a car carrier done out of a Volkswagen.
And it's kind of, just replicating what they did back in the old days for the race teams and people that wanted to go to the racetrack with a Porsche. They could put it on one of these trucks and drive out there with kind of a theme, that kind of goes.
Now you're driving back, you might hit maybe 100-degree temperatures. Huh?
Correct.
Yeah. So let's look at what he's got for that. What he's got over here. This is just cool. He's got Safaris. These are replicas, obviously, right?
Correct.
And then, see that Safari here, so you can get some airflow. You may not have it open all the way, but you also have the back window, so it's almost like riding a motorcycle. You get enough air.
Air condidon't.
Yeah, that's my Volkswagen air conditioning.
255
right?
air.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, you don't need air conditioning if you got Safaris, especially when you got a back window open. So that's just cool.
It is a little bit like a blast furnace, though, when it's over 100 degrees. It's like standing in a blast furnace or sitting in a blast furnace.
Oh yeah, just bring lots of water, right?
Yep.
Drink a lot of water and stop a lot, and yeah, this is awesome, man. Hey, you know what? Thanks for sharing this with us. It really,
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Really
Thank you for
awesome. Thank you for coming out to California to the show.
Yeah, safe trip back.
And we really hope you have a safe trip, and bring it out again.
Thank you guys. It was really good.
Again. We'd love to see it.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right.